Hello, this is a slightly different video this time. I'm not looking at a mental machine, I'm looking at a highly sensible machine. This is the Brother KH588, and it is a early and mid 1960s push button machine. And I thought you might be interested to know exactly how a push button machine works. So, first things to say is that there's a lever at this side, and when I pull it, due to some various mechanisms down here. It's actually going to move this whole thing forwards. Okay, so can you see it's moving that whole bar forwards when I pull this lever? Okay, now the next thing to say is that these buttons are quite interesting. You can see that they have little springs on them, and you should be able to see that there is a piece of wire poking out there and a longer piece of wire at the bottom. That's actually a U shape. If I take you around the back, you'll be able to see that it's a U-shaped piece of wire going down there. And these buttons have got a little cam in them, so you might just be able to see, if I'm very careful, that when I push one, it moves a piece of wire left and right. Can you see that? That moves that one a piece of wire left and right. Okay, if I take you around the front again, you should be able to see that piece of wire moving left and right. Okay, and then if I poke the camera, let's get to focus, in here, you should be able to see that moving the piece of wire shifts a piece of metal there, like that. Can you see? And then pressing the second button, can you see it shifts a piece of metal that's just behind the first piece of metal? It doesn't want to focus because this is really zoomed in. There we go. That moves the second piece of metal, a third piece of metal, a fourth piece of metal, and so on. Now let's zoom out again and go and have a look at what these pieces of metal do. Here they are. Here are all the strips of metal. And you can see that when I push the first button, it not only pulls it along, but it pulls it up. If I push the second button, pushes the second one up, the third one up, and so on, all the way up to 8 little battlements raised. Now that's actually quite cool, because I've put in a few scabby old needles so that you can see it working. Here are my needles, and you can see that they poke out near to these battlements. So if I push the first one up and then pull the lever, see what it does is it pushes 2 of the needles forward for patterning purposes. We'll just return these back. If I push the second button, it'll do it to 2 of them at a time, and so on and so forth. There's even a really cool reverse lever, so at the minute you can see it's doing to 2 of them at a time, but if I pull this reverse lever, what it will do is it will shift it all along and swap over the battlements. Can you see that? It's just lowered the 2 and pulled up the 6, so it's pulling forward everything except the 2 buttons that I pushed. So I think that's a really cool mechanism. It's relatively simple. The other thing is you can shift the whole mechanism up and down, like so. So you can change whereabouts your pattern starts. And this idea of the mechanism shifting up and down is then what was later used on the Jones 800, which I made a video about recently. So I hope that was an interesting sort of précis of how this particular machine works. I will make a video about it when I've put it all together. I feel I should also say that what's in the jar of Tesco whole baby beetroot is not in fact beetroot, but dirty white spirit, or not white spirit, alcohol, which I use for cleaning the parts from horrific to dirty, and then I can then put them into a sonic cleaner to get them super clean. As in this case, now this machine's actually in very good condition, so albeit it was filthy, if I show you the carriage, you'll be able to see how filthy the carriage is. Well, it's pretty disgusting, and that was the cleanest part of it. But it's actually in very good condition, so I'm actually going to treat it to a full set of 200 brand new needles, and I shall put that up on my website for sale once I have completed it. And any 8-button fans might like to know that it's going to go up with a ribber available. Anyone who doesn't know about that doesn't need to get excited, apart from the fact that the ribbers are incredibly rare. So there we go. Thank you very much.